So you might be thinking about when to buy that perfect Tesla for you. Well, as a Model 3 owner myself, I'm going to share with you some of my biggest regrets, my top regrets that you should know if you're thinking about buying that brand new Tesla. Let's get into all of that in today's video. I've driven over 35,000 miles in my rear-wheel drive Model 3, and I've also sat in a Model S Plaid. My brother owns a Model Y Performance. I've really seen all spectrums of Teslas, and now I'm going to give to you 9 of my biggest regrets that I wish I knew from the very beginning. So let's get into point number 1. So point number 1, I did not know what vehicle PPF was. This paint protection film, it actually goes on your car like a clear sticker, and now there's a brand new fix to this regret. So if you're a new driver, you can now elect to have Tesla install paint protection film and actually wrap your Tesla in a different color as well in select cities soon to be expanding. So PPF, this protects your vehicle from rock chips and scratches. This is a must-have, especially on the front of your Tesla, in my opinion. Of course, it's optional, but I didn't know what those options were as a new Tesla driver. So now, how to prevent damage, you can get PPF. Where to get it? Now you can get it straight from Tesla. Point number 2, the biggest regret based on surveys is the price misconception. A regret might be thinking you can't afford a Tesla. We're going to get into some of the reasons why later in the video, but it has been studied that most people think that Teslas are out of reach, being that they're categorized as a luxury vehicle. But now, because of fuel savings, charging cost, and more, it's actually very, very affordable with recent price decreases. So don't think just because it's a Tesla, it is out of reach. New incentives from the EV tax credit make it even more possible to get into that Tesla of your dreams. Regret number 2, not thinking you can afford a Tesla. Point number 3, a big regret was not knowing how much I was going to spend and I should budget for things like charging at home and charging at superchargers. Well, let me just give you the facts. It takes me around $80 a month, give or take, depending on my driving habits, to charge my Tesla at home. Now, I have a NEMA 1450 adapter, and basically it's going to cost you the same amount whether you get that or a wall connector at your house. But let's break down the cost. By the way, I just wanted to tell you, if you are in the market for a Tesla or you're just a Tesla fan, I just launched our free newsletter. It is at frunktoTrunkofficial.com. We've already had dozens of you sign up in a matter of days, so make sure to check that out. Get your news faster with exclusive content, again for free at frunktoTrunkofficial.com. Under $80. That's what it costs me, drastically less than what it costs to fuel up a vehicle currently with gas prices. So you're going to save hundreds. And in fact, the Tesla app tallies this up for you. So I regretted not knowing how much I should budget or how much I was going to save. So now, thanks to the Tesla app, you know exactly how much it's going to cost and how much you're going to save. An additional regret was not knowing you can cut that price almost in half or by a lot if you charge during off-peak hours. So simply plug in your Tesla and then schedule on the app to charge at off-peak hours where energy cost is less, and you can save even more on the price that I pay currently. Stick around, I'm going to do an experiment on this. I'm getting a brand new charger. I can't wait. More on that to come. Regret number 4, this one plagued me from the beginning, and that is not knowing when to buy and waiting, thinking that it's a better strategy to wait, and here's why. A big regret that I had was thinking I'd be first, thinking I'd place my order right away as soon as I knew which Tesla I wanted. Well, let me tell you this, I've been tracking Tesla for over 2 years now. I've made hundreds of videos, and as far as those delivery dates, from month to month to month, they don't really change a lot. What does change are features, functions, and price. So don't think you have to place your order right now, or maybe if you're looking at that new Highland, that brand new Model 3, once it comes out, there's going to be a lot of demand, but don't worry, there's plenty of Highlands to go around. If you want a week or two to think about it, don't think you have to place your order right away. That was a big regret that I had as a new buyer. Point number 5, I should just pause the video right now and give a disclaimer. This is probably one of the biggest regrets of people who don't own Teslas, and here it is. There's a lot of misinformation out there about Teslas, their safety, and so on. So don't believe everything you read, specifically online on those big websites. Do your research past the headline. In fact, there's a lot of articles talking about full self-driving, about Teslas catching on fire, and so on. Well, actually, statistically, full self-driving, autopilot, and charging is actually much, much safer per mile driven than a normal gas vehicle, and that's just statistically proven. So one thing I want you to pay attention to is I regretted not doing even more research. You type something in, you read the headline, and you think, well, that's obviously fact. Well, the fact that you're watching this right now is a really helpful way to learn the actual truth about Teslas. Point number 6, I had no idea about this option as a buyer, and that is do not sleep on current inventory. Just because there's a refresh coming, just because new updates are there, doesn't mean you have to place your order for those vehicles. In fact, I had no idea as a new buyer. Look at the current inventory because you can get remarkable deals. Some of the best performing Teslas, like a Model 3 Performance, going for under $55,000. And if you look at what you're getting, it is an incredible deal, especially because right now, at the time of making this video, those cars qualify for the full EV tax credit. So don't sleep on those current inventories just because they're last year's model per se. You can get an incredible deal, so check those out. Point number 7, a regret that I had. I didn't do this, and 2+ years later, I kind of regret that I didn't. If you've never driven a Tesla, consider taking a test drive. A regret that I had is I watched videos like these you're watching right now, which I greatly appreciate, but I never got behind the wheel until I took delivery. Well, that will help you understand the space difference from a 3 to a Y of the interior, some of those handling differences from the rear wheel drive to an all-wheel drive Tesla, and so much more. So if you're thinking about, well, which Tesla should I get specifically, taking a test drive is a huge regret that I missed out on. So make sure don't have the same regret. Go ahead and check out a Tesla through a test drive. Point number 8, a big regret that I had was not getting the proper accessories. Let's face it, you're going to have a vehicle inspection, and there are safety pucks that actually attach to your battery so mechanics can lift your car safely. It's part of the inspection process, and you're required to have these for them to safely do that. Not buying those accessories will potentially damage your Tesla, but not just that, simple accessories like floor mats, or one of the most popular accessories, a screen protector. That prevents things like fingerprints and glare. So not knowing what the best accessories were, I wasted a lot of time looking online. So I did that for you. All the best accessories are down in the video's description. It does support the channel if you click and buy those accessories, but those are the best as voted on by you. So go ahead and check those out as well. Last but not least, comparing different Teslas. I regret not knowing to compare the 3 to the Y, because really when it comes down to it, depending on what financing options and specs you're looking at, the difference in price may not be that large. So if you're thinking, well, maybe I just want a Model 3 because I've always had a sedan, don't count out the Model Y because you get a lot more space and a lot of the same capability for a very similar price, especially with that EV tax credit. At the current time, all Model Ys qualify for that $7,500 EV tax credit, which turns into a point of sale credit next year. So it's a good comparison. Go to the Tesla dealership, check out the different styles that you might be considering, and go on those test drives that we spoke about. It'll really help you make the best decision. So here's my overall thoughts. Generally, I'm extremely happy with my Model 3 purchase. I have no major regrets other than certain details of my vehicle. What I would tell you, my advice is if you are thinking about a 3 or a Y, you've gone on that test drive, you watched the videos, make sure to get the Tesla that you want. Especially with these EV tax credits, you can get the certain spec of the performance with white interior, whatever it happens to be. You can make those small upgrades because you're going to have this Tesla for a long time. My advice is get the Tesla that you want, take advantage of those EV tax credits, and consider all the other points in this video to make the best decision for you. Tesla owners, do you have any additional regrets? And Tesla buyers, what are some questions that you have during the buying process? And maybe you're thinking, well, when should I place my order? And what's the best Tesla for me? Run all of those scenarios by me in the comment section, and I'll make sure to answer those questions. If you got value in this video, make sure to drop a like. As always, this is Matt from Frunk to Trunk. We will see you in the next video.